benedictions upon everyone. For he is the spiritual master of the universe. Hare Krishna. Purport. With these words, Kashyapa Muni tried to pacify his wife, Aditi. Aditi made her appeal to her material husband. Of course, that is nice, but actually, a material relative cannot do anything good for anyone. If anything good can be done, it is done by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. Therefore, Kashyapa Muni advised his wife Aditi to begin worshipping Lord Vasudeva, who is situated in everyone's heart. He is the friend of everyone and is known as Janardana because he can kill all enemies. There are three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. And above material nature, transcendental to material nature, is another existence, which is called Sudassana. In the material world, the mode of goodness is considered the best. But because of material contamination, even the mode of goodness is sometimes overpowered by the mode of passion and ignorance. But when one transcends the competition between these modes and engages himself in devotional service, he rises above three modes of material nature. In that transcendental position, one is situated in pure Krishna, pure consciousness. Sattvam Visuddham Vasudeva Sadhitam. Srimad Bhagavatam 4.3.23. Above material nature is the position called Vasudeva, for freedom from material contamination. Only in that position can one perceive the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, the Vasudeva condition fulfills a spiritual necessity. Vasudeva Sarvam Iti Samahatma Sudurlabha. When one realizes Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he becomes most exalted. Paramatma Vasudeva is situated in everyone's heart, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. The Lord says, Tesam satatayuktanam vastam pratipurvakam tatami buddhiyogam tam yenamam upayam te. To those who are constantly devoted and who worship me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Bhagavad Gita 10.10. Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Erte Sevajanatistati. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna. Bhagavad Gita 18.61. Bhaktaram Yagitapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Sridam Sarvabhutanam Yatvam Santin Richati. The sages, knowing me as the ultimate purpose of all sacrifices and austerities, Supreme Lord of all planets and demigods, and benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material miseries. Whenever one is perplexed, let him take shelter of the lotus feet of Vasudeva, Krishna, who will give the devotee intelligence to help him surpass all difficulties and return home back to God. Kashyapa Muni advised his wife to seek shelter at the lotus feet of Vasudeva, Krishna, so that all her problems would be very easily solved. Thus, Kashyapa Muni was an ideal spiritual master. He was not so foolish that he would present himself as an exalted personality, as good as God. He was actually a bona fide guru because he advised his wife to seek shelter at the lotus feet of Vasudeva. One who trains his subordinate or disciple to worship Vasudeva is the truly bona fide spiritual master. The word Jagat Gurum is very important in this regard. Kashyapi Muni did not falsely declare himself to be Jagat Guru, although he actually was Jagat Guru because he had advocated the cause of Vasudeva. Actually, Vasudeva is Jagat Guru, as clearly stated here. Vasudevam Jagat Gurum, one who teaches the instructions of Vasudeva. Bhagavad Gita is as good as Vasudevam Jagat Gurum. But when one who does not teach this instruction, as it is, declares himself Jagat Guru, he simply cheats the public. Krishna is Jagat Guru, and one who teaches the instruction of Krishna as it is on behalf of Krishna may be accepted as Jagat Guru. One who manufactures his own theories cannot be accepted. He becomes Jagat Guru falsely. Text 21. There's a lot of false people that claim to be Jagat Guru. Text 21. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is very merciful to the poor, will fulfill all of your desires. For devotional service unto him is infallible. Any method other than devotional service is useless. That is my opinion. That's what Krishna is saying. That's the last word of Krishna's transcendental teaching. Purport. There are three kinds of men who are called akama, mokshakama, and sarvakama. One who tries to get liberation from this material world is called mokshakama. One who wants to enjoy the material world to its fullest extent is called sarvakama. And one who has fulfilled all his desires and has no further material desires is called akama, meaning no more sense gratification. A bhakta has no desire. Sarvapadi vinirmuktam tatparatvina nirmalam. He is purified and free from material desires. The moksha karma wants to achieve liberation by merging into the existence of the Supreme Brahman. And because of this desire to merge into the existence of the Lord, he is not yet pure. And since those who want liberation are impure, what to speak of the karmas who have so many desires to fulfill? Nonetheless, the Shastra says, akama sarvakama va, mokshakama udaradi, tivrena bhakti yogena, yajata purusham param. Whether one desires everything or nothing, or desires to merge into the existence of the Lord, he is intelligent only if he worships Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by rendering transcendental loving service. Okay, well, that is the the saving, what do you call it? It is the best way to make spiritual advancement. That is to surrender to Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by rendering transcendental loving service. Kashyapa Muni saw that his wife, Aditi, had some material desires for the welfare of her sons, but still he advised her to render devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In other words, everyone, regardless of whether he is a karmi, jnani, yogi, or bhakta, should invariably take shelter of the lotus feet of Vasudeva and render transcendental loving service unto him, so that all his desires will be duly fulfilled. Krishna is Dina Anukampanam. He is very merciful to everyone. Therefore, if one wants to fulfill his material desires, Krishna helps him. Of course, sometimes if a devotee is very sincere, the Lord, as a special favor to him, refuses to fulfill his material desires and directly blesses him with pure, unalloyed devotional service. It is said in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 22, 38.39. Krishna kahe ama bhaje maje vishaya sukha amrita chadi visha maje e vada murkha ami vigna e murke vishaya kene diva swa chara amrita diya vishaya bulaiva. Krishna says, if one engages in my transcendental loving service, but at the same time wants this opulence of material enjoyment, he is very, very foolish. Indeed, he is just like a person who gives up ambrosia to drink poison. Since I am very intelligent, why should I give this fool material prosperity? Instead, I shall induce him to take the nectar of the shelter of my lotus feet and make him forget illusory material enjoyment. If a devotee maintains some material desire and at the same time very sincerely desires to engage at the lotus feet of Krishna, Krishna may directly give him unalloyed devotional service and take away all his material desires and possessions. Well, that's what has happened many times in the past, even to Srila Prabhupada. This is the Lord's special favor to devotees. Otherwise, if one takes to Krishna's devotional service, but still has material desires to fulfill, he may become free from all material desires, as Dhruva Maharaj did. But this may take some time. However, if a very sincere devotee wants only Krishna's lotus feet, Krishna directly gives him the position of Sudha Bhakti, unalloyed devotional service. Text 22. Srimati Aditi said, O Brahmana, tell me the regulative principles by which I may worship the Supreme Master of the world, so that the Lord will be pleased with me and fulfill all my desires. Second. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. It is said, man proposes, God disposes. Thus, A person may desire many things, but unless these desires are fulfilled by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they cannot be fulfilled. Fulfillment of desire is called Satya Sankalpa. Here, the word Satya Sankalpa is very important. Aditi placed herself at the mercy of her husband so that he would give her directions by which to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so that all her desires would be fulfilled. A disciple must first decide that he should worship the Supreme Lord. And then spiritual master will give the disciple correct directions. One cannot dictate to the spiritual master, just as a patient cannot demand that his physician prescribe a certain type of medicine. Here is the beginning of worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 7.16. Chaturvidha bhajante mam jnana supritina virjana artha jigyasur artharti jnanicha paradharsava. O best among the Bharatas, four kinds of pious men render devotional service unto me: the distressed, the desirer of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the absolute. Aditi was Artha, a person in distress. She was very much aggrieved because her sons, the demigods, were bereft of everything. Thus, she wanted to take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead under the direction of her husband, Kashyapa Muni. Text 23. O best of the Brahmins, kindly instruct me in the perfect method of worshiping the Supreme Personality of Godhead in devotional service, by which the Lord may very soon be pleased with me and save me, along with my sons, from this most dangerous condition. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Sometimes less intelligent men ask whether one has to approach a guru to be instructed in devotional service for spiritual advancement. The answer is given here. Indeed, not only here, but also in Bhagavad Gita, where Arjuna accepted Krishna as his guru. Sisya te ham sadimam tvam prapanam. The Vedas also instruct. Tad viganartam sagurum iva vigachet. One must accept a guru for proper direction if one is seriously inclined toward advancement in spiritual life. The Lord says that one must worship the Acharya, who is the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Acharya, mam vijanayam. One should definitely understand this. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that the Guru is the manifestation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, according to all the evidence given by the Shastra and by the practical behavior of devotees, one must accept a guru. Aditi accepted her husband as her guru so that he would direct her how to advance in spiritual consciousness, devotional service, by worshiping the Supreme Lord. Text 24. Sri Kashyapa Muni said, when I desired offspring, I placed inquiries before Lord Brahma, who was born from a lotus flower. Now I shall explain to you the same process Lord Brahma instructed me, by which Keshava, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is satisfied. Okay, well, that's very important. How to satisfy Krishna. Purport. Here, the process of devotional service is further explained. Kashyapa Muni wanted to instruct Aditi in the same process recommended to him by Brahma for satisfying the Supreme Personality of God. This is valuable. The Guru does not manufacture a new process to instruct the disciple. The disciple receives from the Guru an authorized process received by the Guru from his Guru. This is called the system of the cyclic succession. Evam parampara praptam imam prajarsaya vidu. This is the bona fide Vedic system of receiving the process of devotional service, by which the Supreme Personality of Godhead is pleased. Therefore, to approach a bona fide Guru or spiritual master is essential. The bona fide spiritual master is he who has received the mercy of his Guru, who in turn is bona fide because he has received the mercy of his Guru. This is called the parampara system. Unless one follows this parampara system, the mantra one receives will be chanted for no purpose. Nowadays, there are so many rascal gurus who manufacture their mantras as a process for material advancement, not spiritual advancement. Still, the mantra cannot be successful if it is manufactured. Mantras and the process of devotion service have special power, provided they are received from the authorized person. Harivilas. Text 25. In the bright fortnight of the month of Falguna, February and March, for 12 days ending with Devadasi, one should observe the vow of subsisting only on milk and should worship the lotus-eyed Supreme Personality of Godhead with all devotion. Purport. Worshipping the Supreme Lord Vishnu with devotion means following Archana Marga. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Papasevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Satyam Atma Nivedanam. One should install the deity of Lord Vishnu or Krishna and worship him nicely by dressing him, decorating him with flower garment, and offering him all kinds of fruits, flowers, and cooked food, nicely prepared with ghee, sugar, and grains. One should also offer a flame, incense, and so on, while ringing a bell of as prescribed. This is called worship of the Lord. Worship of the Lord. Here it is recommended that one observe the vow of subsisting only on drinking milk. This is called Hayovrata, as we generally perform devotional service on Ekadasi by not eating grains. It is generally recommended that on Devadasi, one not consume anything but milk. Payavrata and Archana devotional service to the Supreme Lord should be performed with a pure devotional attitude. Bhaktya. Without bhakti, one cannot worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavanyas chasmin tatpatam. If one wants to know the Supreme Personality of Godhead and be directly connected with Him, knowing what He wants to eat and how He is satisfied, one must take to the process of bhakti, as recommended here also. Bhaktya paramaya yanvita. One should be surcharged with unalloyed devotional service. Second, text 26. If dirt dug up by a boar is available on the day of the dark moon, one should smear this dirt on his body and then bathe in a flowing river. While bathing, one should chant the following mantra. Text 27. O Mother Earth, you were raised by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of a boar because of your desiring to have a place to stay. I pray that you kindly vanquish all the reactions of my sinful life. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Text 28. Thereafter, one should perform the daily spiritual duties, and then, with great attention, offer worship to the deity of the Supreme Personality of God, and also to the altar, the sun, water, fire, and the Supreme Master. Text 29. O Supreme Personality of Godhead, greatest of all, who lives in everyone's heart, and in whom everyone lives. O witness of everything, O Vasudeva, supreme and all-pervading person, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Text 30. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, the Supreme Person, being very subtle. You are never visible to material eyes. You are the knower of the 24 elements, and you are the inaugurator of the Sankhya Yoga system. Purport. Chaturvimsad Guna. 24 elements are the 5 gross elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. The 3 subtle elements: mind, intelligence, and false ego. The 10 senses: 5 for working and 5 for acquiring knowledge. The 5 sense objects and contaminated consciousness. These are the subject matter of the Sankhya Yoga, which was inaugurated by Lord Kapila Deva. This Sankhya Yoga was again propounded by another Kapila, but he was an atheist, and his system is not accepted as bona fide. Okay, so you have 2 Kapilas, one who is a fake and one who is bona fide. We have to be very careful to be on the right side of the real Kapila woman. Text 31. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who have 2 heads, Prayaniya and Udayaniya, 3 legs, Savana Traya, 4 horns, the 4 Vedas, and 7 hands, the 7 Chandas, such as Gayatri. I offer my obeisances unto you, whose heart and soul are the three Vedic rituals, Kama Kanda, Jnana Kanda, and Upasana Kanda, and who expand these rituals in the form of sacrifice. Text 32. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, Lord Shiva, or Rudra, who are the reservoir of all potencies, the reservoir of all knowledge, and the master of every purport. It is the system for one to offer obeisances unto the expansion or incarnation of the Lord. Lord Shiva is the incarnation of ignorance, one of the material modes of nature. Text 33. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you who are situated in Hiranyagarbha, the source of life, the super soul of every living entity. Your body is the source of the utmost of all mystic power. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Text 34. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you who are the original personality of Godhead, the witness in everyone's heart, and the incarnation of Narayana Rishi in the form of a human being. O personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Text 35. My Lord, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you who are dressed in yellow garments, whose bodily hue resembles the Marakata gem, and who have full control over the goddess of fortune. O my Lord Keshava, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. O most exalted and worshipable Lord, best of those who bestow benediction, you can fulfill the desires of everyone, and therefore those who are sober for their own welfare worship the dust of your lotus feet. Nice verse. Text 37. All the demigods, as well as the goddess of fortune, engage in the service of his lotus feet. Indeed, they respect the fragrance of those lotus feet. May the Supreme Personality of Godhead be pleased with me. Text 38. Kashyapa Muni continued by chanting all these mantras, welcoming the Supreme Personality of Godhead with faith and devotion, and offering him items of worship such as Padya and Argya. One should worship Keshava, Rishikesha, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 31. In the beginning, the devotee should chant the Dvada Sakshara mantra and offer flower garlands, incense, and so on. After worshiping the Lord in this way, one should bathe the Lord with milk and dress him with proper garments, a sacred thread and ornaments. After offering water to wash the Lord's feet, one should again worship the Lord with fragrant flowers, incense, and other paraphernalia. The Dwadasaksara mantra is Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. While worshiping the deity, one should ring a bell with his left hand and offer padya, argya, vastra, ganda, Mala, Abarana, Vusana, and so on. In this way, one should bathe the Lord with milk, dress him, and again worship him with all paraphernalia. Text 40. If one can afford to, one should offer the deity fine rice boiled in milk with clarified butter and molasses, while chanting the same original mantra. One should offer all this to the fire. 1 second. Okay. Text 41. Thereafter, one should silently murmur the mantra 108 times and offer prayers to the Lord for his glorification. Then one should circumambulate the Lord, and finally, with great delight and satisfaction, offer obeisances falling straight like a rod. Dandavat. 43. After touching to one's head all the flowers and water offered to the deity, one should throw them into a sacred place. Then one should feed at least 2 brahmanas with sweet rice. Text 44 and 45. One should perfectly honor the respectable brahmana one has fed. And then, after taking their permission, one should take prasada with his friends and relatives. For that night, one should observe strict celibacy, and the next morning, after bathing again with purity and attention, one should bathe the deity of Vishnu with milk and worship him according to the methods formerly stated in detail. Text 46. Worshipping Lord Vishnu with great faith and devotion and living only by drinking milk, one should follow this vow. One should also offer oblations to the fire and feed the brahmanas as mentioned before. Text 47. In this way, until 12 days have passed, one should observe this Payo Vrata, worshiping the Lord every day, executing the routine duties, performing sacrifices, and feeding the brahmanas. Text 48. From Paripat until the 13th day of the next bright moon, Sukla Trayodasi, one should observe complete celibacy, sleep on the floor, bathe 3 times a day, and thus execute the vow. Text 49. During this period, one should not unnecessarily talk of material subjects or topics of sense gratification. One should be completely free from envy of all living entities, and one should be a pure and simple devotee of Lord Vasudeva. Text 50. Thereafter, following the directions of the Shastra with help from Brahmanas who know the Shastra, on the 13th day of the moon, one should bathe Lord Vishnu with 5 substances: milk, yogurt, ghee, sugar, and honey. Text 51 and 52. Wait a second. Yeah. Giving up the miserly habit of not spending money. One should arrange for the gorgeous worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, who is situated in the heart of every living entity. With great attention, one must prepare an oblation of grains boiled in ghee and milk, and must chant the Purusha Sukta mantra. The offerings of food should be of varieties of tastes. In this way, one should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 53. One should satisfy the Supreme Master, Acharya, who is very learned in the Vedic literature, and should satisfy his assistant priests, known as Hota, Ugata, Advaryu, and Rama. One should please them by offering them clothing, ornaments, and cows. This is the ceremony called Vishnu Aradhana, or worship of Lord Vishnu. You see how important cows are. Very important. Text 54. O most auspicious lady, one should perform all the ceremonies under the direction of learned acharyas, and should satisfy them and their priests by distributing prasada. One should also satisfy the brahmanas and others who have assembled. Text 55. One should satisfy the spiritual master and assistant priests by giving them cloth, ornaments, cows, and also some monetary contribution. And by distributing prasada, one should satisfy everyone assembled, including even the lowest of men, the chandalas, the eaters of dog flesh. Oh my God. Purport. In the Vedic system, prasada is distributed, as recommended here, without discrimination as to who may take the prasada, regardless of whether one be a Brahmana, Sudra, Vaishya, Kshatriya, or even the lowest of men, a Chandala. He should be welcome to accept prasada. However, when the Chandalas, the lower class or poorer class, are taking prasada, this does not mean that they have become Narayana or Vishnu. Narayana is situated in everyone's heart, but this does not mean Narayana is a Chandala or poor man. The Mayavada philosophy of accepting a poor man as Narayana is the most envious and atheistic movement in Vedic culture. This mentality should be completely given up. Everyone should be given the opportunity to take prasada, but this does not mean that everyone has the right to become Narayana. Text 56. One should distribute Vishnu prasada to everyone, including the poor man, the blind man, the non-devotee, and the non-Brahmins. Knowing that Lord Vishnu is very pleased when everyone is sumptuously fed with Vishnu prasada, the performer of yajna should then take prasada with his friends and relatives. Text 57. Every day from Pratipat to Trayodasi, one should continue the ceremony to the accompaniment of dancing, singing, and beating of a drum, the chanting of prayers and all auspicious mantras, and recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam. In this way, one should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 58. This is the religious ritualistic ceremony known as Payo Vrata, by which one may worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I received this information from Brahma, my grandfather, and now I have described it to you in all details. Text 59. O most fortunate lady, establishing your mind in a good spirit, execute this process of Payovrata and thus worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Keshava, who is inexhaustible. Text 60. This Payovrata is also known as Sarva Yagya. In other words, by performing this sacrifice, one can perform all other sacrifices automatically. This is also acknowledged to be the best of all ritualistic ceremonies. O gentle lady, it is the essence of all austerities, and it is the process of giving charity and pleasing the Supreme Controller. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Aradhananam sarvesam Vishnu Aradhanam param. This is a statement made by Lord Shiva to Parvati. Worshipping Lord Vishnu is the supreme process of worship. And how Lord Vishnu is worshipped in the Payovrata ceremony has now been fully described. The ultimate goal of life is to please Lord Vishnu by Varnashrama Dharma. The Vedic principles of 4 Varnas and 4 Ashramas are meant for worship of Vishnu. Vishnu Aradyate Pumsam Nanyat Tat Dosa Karanam. The Krishna consciousness movement is also Vishnu Aradhanam, or worship of Lord Vishnu, according to the age. The Payovrata method of Vishnu Aradhanam was enunciated long ago by Kashyapa Muni to his wife Aditi. In the heavenly planets, and the same process is bona fide on earth even now, especially for this age of Kali. The process accepted by the Krishna consciousness movement is to open hundreds and thousands of Vishnu temples, temples of Radha Krishna, Jagannatha, Balarama, Sitarama, Gauranitai, and so on, performing prescribed worship in such temples of Vishnu, and thus worshipping the Lord is as good as performing the Payovrata ceremony, recommended here. The Payovrata ceremony is performed from the 1st to the 13th day of the bright fortnight of the moon. But in our Krishna consciousness movement, Lord Vishnu is worshipped in every temple according to a schedule of 24 hours of engagement in performing kirtana, chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, offering palatable food to Lord Vishnu, and distributing this food to Vaishnavas and others. These are the authorized activities, and if the members of the Krishna consciousness movement stick to these principles, they will achieve the same result one gains by observing the Payovrata ceremony. Thus, the essence of all auspicious activities, such as performing yajna, giving, giving in charity, observing vratas, and undergoing austerities is included in the Krishna consciousness movement. The members of this movement should immediately and sincerely follow the process already recommended. Of course, sacrifice is meant to please Lord Vishnu. Yajnai Sankirtana Parayar Yajanti Hi Sumidasaha. In Kali Yuga, those who are intelligent perform the Sankirtan Yajna. One should follow this process conscientiously. So there are two things happening here. One is the traditional way of worshiping, and the other is the Krishna conscious way of pleasing the Lord. So either way, you please the Lord, but the Krishna conscious way is highly recommended in this age of Kali Yuga. Text 61. This is the best process for pleasing the transcendental supreme personality of Godhead, known as Adhoksaja. It is the best of all regulative principles, the best austerity, the best process of giving charity, and the best process of sacrifice. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 1866, Sarvadharmam Parikyaja Mamekam Saranam Braja Aham Tvam Sarvapapebhyo Mokshishyami Mahasucha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reaction. Do not fear. Unless one pleases the Supreme Personality of Godhead according to his demand, no good result will come from any of his actions. Dharma samustita pumsam visvaksena katasuva visvaksena katasuya. Not padayed yadiratim shrama eva hi kevalam. The occupational activities in man, the occupational activities a man performs according to his own position are only so much useless labor if they do not provoke attraction for the message of the personality of Godhead. Bhagavatam 1.2.8. If one is not interested in satisfying Lord Vishnu, Vasudeva, all his so-called auspicious activities are fruitless. Mogasya moga karmano, moga jnana vichetasa. Because he is bewildered, he is baffled in his hopes, baffled in his activities, and baffled in his knowledge. In this regard, Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti remarks, Nupum sakam anapum sakan eti adina katvam. One cannot equate the potent and the impotent. Among modern Mayavadis, it has become fashionable to say whatever one does or whatever path one follows is all right. But these are all foolish statements. Here it is forcibly affirmed that this is the only method for success in life. Ishvara tarpanam vina sarvam eva vifalam. Unless Lord Vishnu is satisfied, all of one's pious activities, ritualistic ceremonies, and yagyas are simply for show and have no value. Unfortunately, foolish people do not know the secret of success. Nate vidu swartagatim vishnam. They do not know that real self interest ends in pleasing Lord Vishnu. Yeah, so all the pujas that are being done are useless unless they are meant to please Lord Vishnu. So yesterday I witnessed some pujas being done. It was basically useless. Uh, but when they asked me to say a few words, I chanted Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And I said, you should always chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And that's all I said. Therefore, my dear gentle lady, follow this ritualistic vow, strictly observing the regulative principles. By this process, the Supreme Person will very soon be pleased with you and will satisfy all your desires. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 8th canto, 16th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled Executing the Payovrata Process of Worship. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Glories to the Vaishnava way of worshiping the Lord. So, are there any questions or comments? Any questions or comments? I have to drink something when my mouth is so dry.
It's good.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Yes, my question is, we do deity worship, as a Vaishnava 3 times a day. How do we know that we make offenses? Like if we are not, sometimes we have bad moods, or sometimes we have good moods, sometimes we have okay moods. I mean, can you please explain?
Well, you should only worship the deity by being in a good mood. How can you please the Lord if you're in a bad mood? You can't. So before you do any type of worship, you should first of all take a bath, put on clean clothes, put tilak on, and feel very what you would call happy. Then you do your worship. You can't worship Krishna if you're upset or angry or envious. You have to be happy to worship the Lord. So, how to be happy is to always chant Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. After chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, then you can worship the Lord with a happy mind and please the Lord, because the Lord is a happy person. You can't be upset and please the Lord. You also have to be happy because He's always happy. Right? So, how do you become happy? Follow the regulative principles of Krishna consciousness and happily engage in devotional service and happily engaged in the association of happy devotees. And in that way, you can please the Lord. You can't please the Lord if you're mad or angry. You can only please the Lord if you're happy and in the association of other happy devotees. Just imagine if you're angry and you're in the temple and you're angry. Well, other people will come and see that you're angry. They'll say, "Oh my God, I don't want to come to this temple. There's something wrong here. These people don't look like they're happy. In fact, they're arguing and they're upset. So I won't come here anymore because otherwise I'll become like these people." So it's very important that we be always happy and satisfied by engaging in devotional service, never arguing, never being angry, and always being satisfied with whatever Krishna gives us. We should not hanker for things. Rather, we should be very thankful with whatever Krishna gives us by his mercy. Then we are Krishna conscious and our mind is peaceful because we're satisfied by whatever Krishna gives us. Okay, so all glories to Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Any other questions or comments? Okay, well, thank you very much, my dear devotees. Please chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Now we're going to adjourn this part of the program today and take up the next program, which is chanting our rounds, 16 good rounds. Later on, we'll have some very nice prasadam and have a nice day because we have followed the rules and regulations of Krishna consciousness. All glories to Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So tomorrow we're going to hear the Supreme Lord agrees to become Aditi's son. Very cool. Very interesting topic. I can't wait till tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Your classes are always very inspiring. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare.
And may Krishna always be in your thoughts and your mind.